This is Sumbul Sang with episode number 9 of the Start a New Show.
Does your work energize you? Does it make your impact on the world? Welcome to Start Anew, the show that looks beyond success into freedom, fulfillment, and your passion-driven career. Join your host, Sumbul Sang, for inspiring stories and bite-sized training to help you start anew with clarity. And now, here's Sumbul.
Hey there, starters. Thank you for tuning in to another Strategy Saturday. It is my pleasure to serve you. Last Saturday, we began the process of self-awareness with the fun topic of personality and why it matters in your quest for a fulfilling career or business. If you missed that, please go back to episode number 6, Who Are You? Part 1. And now we continue the discussion of self-awareness by delving into your strengths and weaknesses. Today's highlights are what comes naturally to you, my favorite self-assessment tool for discovering your strengths, and lastly, your weaknesses. So why are we talking about any of this? Put simply, if you know what you are good at, you can choose to do things that leverage your strengths and thrive at work. Taking stock of what you're good at and not so good at helps you make career choices that play to your strengths. Now that you know why you're here today, let's kickstart with your talents. How do you define talent? Well, paraphrasing the dictionary definition, your talents are your natural abilities or aptitude. Have you heard of the phrase, someone has a raw talent for something? I have uploaded a quick reference guide on the show notes page which summarizes different types of talents and gives you some examples. Head over to letstartanew.com/9. Unlike talent, skill is something you develop with training or practice. For instance, with practice, you can develop the skill of typing at X words per minute. Now we know what is talent and skill. But what is strength? Well, a strength is a talent groomed with practice and knowledge. Say you have a natural talent for drawing. Then you go to drawing school and practice drawing every day. Eventually, drawing will become your key strength. You can extend this argument both ways. If you didn't have a natural talent for something, it will be quite difficult to turn that into a strength. It's not impossible, of course. With enough determination and hard work, anything is possible. But be conscious if what you are getting yourself into doesn't play to your talents. Evaluate how important this goal really is to you. I'm going to recommend an online tool that helps you find your strengths and even gives you recommendations for your personal development plan. It is called the Gallup Strengths Finder, and you will find a link in the show notes. I have personally used it, and I think I paid $15 for it, but it was well worth it. I often look back at my Gallup Strengths report to evaluate if a project I'm starting plays to my strengths or not. According to Gallup, strength equals talent plus knowledge plus skill. They go on to say, and I'm quoting them, talents come naturally, but strengths are earned. But to build strengths, you must first discover your greatest talents. I'm big on maximizing my strengths, and if you are as intrigued by this topic as I am, please shoot me an email or add your comments on the post and let me know your thoughts. Or better yet, share with other starters an example of how you turned a talent into a strength. All right, enough with the theory. Let's take some action. Spend some time alone to ask and answer focused questions about yourself like, what comes naturally to you while others seem to struggle with? What do your friends or colleagues seek your help with? What are your 3 best qualities? What are your 3 favorite skills? What were 3 projects or activities at work that you excelled at? I think you get the idea, but we're not always objective about ourselves. So I suggest to also ask for feedback from friends and colleagues who know you well and whom you trust. Some people do this online, some people in person, and I have even heard of this being done rather formally in the form of a focus group. Personally, I emailed a few questions to some peeps who have known me personally or professionally for more than 5 years. It was an interesting exercise. Some people said hurtful things. Most people said the obvious things that I already knew. but a few provided surprisingly good insight into things I wasn't very conscious of. For instance, a friend of more than 10 years said, "I enjoyed the thrill of living life on the edge." Now, I'm not saying that is a strength, but it gives me a multi-dimensional picture of who I am. You can make a list of questions you would like to ask others and consider starting off with ratting yourself out or self-deprecating humor, so people feel comfortable giving you constructive feedback rather than saying things to please you. Try not to get defensive with the feedback though. Remember the big picture. You are getting to know yourself better to create a better future. The last thing we will discuss today is weaknesses. Not my favorite topic, but it is very useful to be conscious of our weaknesses. Let me list a few reasons why. If you are aware of what you struggle with, you can choose a career that doesn't rely heavily on that skill. For instance, if you struggle with analytical thinking, programming might not be the best career for you. If you're a manager or your own boss, you can choose to delegate tasks that won't fit in your skill set. If you know your weakness, you can develop skills to improve on it if it helps you fulfill a big dream or goal. For instance, I have a desire to share my learnings with others, and seminars are a great platform. And therefore, I've made the decision to practice at public speaking, even though it isn't my strength. Please take action, reflect, survey, and write down your strengths using the template from last session. And don't forget to download the quick reference guide to strengths at letstartanew.com/9. Next Saturday, we will examine your values and why they are crucial to help you start anew with clarity.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Start Anew Show. We invite you to be more than a passive listener. Be a starter. Join our community and snag exclusive freebies from Symbol and her guests at letstartanew.com. Create your vision of freedom and fulfillment right here on the Start Anew Show.